Question 7 then on the sheet of questions starts to have a look at saying whether a ship is sunk or not. So it's going to come up with a message, "You sunk my battleship," to indicate when a ship has been sunk. This is something that can be fairly straightforward and added to what you've just added with the hit part. Now to do this, we're going to have to change the actual structure itself. So if we go right to the top, we've got this T-ship. One of the ideas that I had on this is that we could add another variable in here called hits that will keep track of how many hits have been had on that ship. So we've done that, and then we're going to look at the make player move. Within this one, we've identified which ship has been hit. We've already done that through this part, and we're going to add one onto that particular ship. So if we take the ships, the index dot hits equals +1. So we've added one onto that. So if the number of hits is the same as the size of the ship, then we want to say, "You sunk my battleship." So I'm going to put that if. You sunk my battleship, and we'll put the name of the ship. So that will output that. This means this next bit, we only need to display "you hit the ship" if we've not sunk the ship. And so we can test this program out now. The best thing to do is do it on the training game, but we can remember where our cruiser went, and it was somewhere like 4-9. So it says hit the cruiser, try 3-9, hit the cruiser, 2-9, we've missed that one, 5-9, we've hit the cruiser, 6-9, you sunk my battleship, cruiser, 7-9, we've hit a patrol boat, sorry we've missed, you've sunk my patrol boat. So there we have it. That tells us we've actually sunk a ship. Next question in my set was an alternative way of validating the coordinates. So we previously looked at validating the coordinates in the get row column. Now alternatively we could use a function to validate the coordinates. So this one was doing it slightly different. So what we wanted to do, I'm going to adapt this one, and instead we're going to create a function, and this function is going to be called validate coordinate, and it's going to take a coordinate as a parameter. So there we've got a function. Basically I'm going to do the same what I've got here. So it's going to, what it's going to do, it says it'll check the coordinates lie within the range of 0 to 9, and if it doesn't, it'll output an error message. So if the coordinate is less than 0 or the coordinate is greater than 9, then let's put that error message there, and we're going to have a return false, else return true. So it's going to return a value that says true if it's fine, so if it's not outside the range, so if it's valid, otherwise it will return false. So we've got our return value in there. It's one way of doing it, and so instead of having this, we input the row, and we can mend this dim valid as a boolean, And what we could have is valid equals validate coordinate, and we'll send it the column. Loop until valid equals true. So it's just an alternative way of doing it. They may get you to do it like this. Just to show that you understand how to return a value from a function. So all I've tried to come up with these are alternative ways of solving the same problems. So if we run this now, our validation for our coordinates should work. So if I enter -1, invalid coordinate, please re-enter 10, 1, -1, 10 and 1. So there we have it. That's an alternative way of doing that one. Okay, moving to question 9 then of my sheet of questions. This one relates to the ability to save a game so it can be resumed later. So we're going to look at procedures, parameters, file writer, arrays and iteration. Best way to do this question is have a look at our existing load game. So it wants us to write a procedure save game. So to do this, my biggest advice, depending upon how it's asked you to structure it, if it wants you to structure it as a text file, the same, just copy and paste. I'm going to change the load to save, by refs to by val, because I'm not returning anything from saving it. Unlike load, you're loading it up and you're returning it. File reader to file writer, stream reader to stream writer, stream reader to stream writer. I'm going to get rid of every reference to line because that's to do with loading it in. So get rid of that and that aspect. So the next part is to actually take the board at that position and place it into the file, and we use this using the file writer .write. And so everything is there for us. It's just a case of putting the readers to writers, changing the by ref to a by val because we don't need to return a value, and using this write. Now that will place every character of the board in one line. To put it as a full representation of the board, we will also use file writer .write line to add a carriage return at the end of each one. So that is the save game written. Now what we're going to do now is look at the play game, and what I've suggested is that after the board has been displayed, so here, then we ask the user if they would like to save it. So at that point we ask them. We're going to need a new variable. Just going to call it choice. I'm going to do it as a char because it's a single char character. Choice equals console.readline. Okay, and if the user was yes, then we're going to call that a save game. So save game. Oh, we're going to need a file name. So file name was a string. Enter a file name. File name equals console.readline, and we'll save the game with the file name, and we can tell it that because you can see there it's in bold, hit the comma, and we've got the board to send to it. So that will actually save the game. If I run this now, play the game, let's go for our usual 4 and 9. Oops, I missed the save game option there. I'll just go for 9 and 9. Nope, 4 and 9. We've got a hit. Yes, we're going to save it. Test.txt, and that would have saved it. If I search for that project folder, I can have a look through N drive, my documents, Visual Studio 2013, projects. I've been really naughty here and left it as console. Look in the folder, look in the bin, look in the debug, and there is my board. Now I can cheat now because I know where all the boats are, but that has saved it, and now it's possible to load a game. Okay, so let's study the display menu. I'm going to add a new option, load a game, and we're going to look at the main, and if the menu option equals 7, then we're going to load the game. We're going to ask them for a file to load. Please enter a file name. File name. Okay, and then if you look here, we can make use of those two lines of code, copy and paste them. Instead of training game, that is now file name. Okay, so now we can load the game. Press the wrong one. I did load training game and I've not put the training game in the folder. Load game 7 test.txt. I can't remember what I called it. What was it? It was test.txt. I've put text there. Look, that's what's wrong. So we'll do that again. Third time lucky. So load the game. Test.txt. And there it is. There's the 2 that I've put in there. But continue. We can put 2, and we can carry on playing that game. So that shows that we've saved and we've loaded a game, which is a big thing to add to this game. The last one on this sheet, number 10, is for a diagonal. Now I've just suggested one diagonal. It could be diagonal either way, but if we have a look at the place random ships routine, this one at the moment, the purpose of this random function is to generate a random number that will either be 0 or 1. If it's 0 it'll be vertical, if it's 1 it'll be horizontal. So if we change that to a 3, we can say else if all v equals 1, then we'll have that, else orientation equals d for diagonal. Now you could add into their left diagonal or right diagonal, either way. So then we're going to have a look at the validate boat position. And in the validate boat position, we've got this if statement here for checking returning faults. If the row or the column is above that, we can add another else if to say if the orientation equals D and the column plus the ship size is greater than 10, or the row plus the ship size is greater than 10, then return false. Put them in brackets because we're checking for both the column and the row. Unfortunately, there's only about 20 more seconds left for the recording on this video, so we're going to have to stop this question here and then we'll pick it up in the next video. Thank you very much.